What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and we just got the very first teaser trailer for The Marvels, Captain Marvel 2. And honestly, it looks pretty dang good. This is going to follow the story of Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, as every time they use their powers, they swap places with each other. This was hinted to us at the end of Miss Marvel in the post-credit scene. Kamala Khan goes to lay on her bed until her mother yells at her about not doing science homework. Her bangle starts to glow, and then all of a sudden, we see her teleport somewhere and somebody else take her place, and that person is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel looks at herself, looks around, and has no idea what is going on. And this is where that trailer kind of picks up, with Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau swapping places. Now, with the release of this trailer, Disney has released a new plot synopsis for this film, which we're going to go over first, then break down the trailer. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the Marvels, and so you can enter our giveaway for a chance to win a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends stuff, or some DC stuff. The winner gets to pick. All you got to do is subscribe and leave a comment down below. Now, the new synopsis for The Marvels that Disney sent out this morning reads, in Marvel Studios' The Marvels, Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. But unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. When her duties send her to an anomalous wormhole linked to a Kree revolutionary, her powers become entangled with that of Jersey City superfan Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and Carol's estranged niece, now S.A.B.E.R astronaut Captain Monica Rambeau. Together, this unlikely trio must team up and learn to work in concert to save the universe as the Marvels. Now, in one of the post-credit scenes for WandaVision, we saw a scene of a Skrull speaking with Monica Rambeau, stating that somebody wants to talk to her, and the Skrull pointed up. Now, obviously, they were referring to Nick Fury, and she has been recruited by either S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.W.O.R.D., or whatever Nick Fury is a part of right now. So this trailer starts off in space, at a space station that they call S.A.B.E.R. Now, this is called S.A.B.E.R, but what it really seems to be is the Peak from Marvel Comics. And in the comics, the Peak is a headquarters for S.W.O.R.D. that is in space that orbits around the Earth, and it actually looks pretty identical in the comics to what we are seeing right here. Now, we were introduced to S.W.O.R.D. in WandaVision. Now, S.W.O.R.D. stands for Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division, and actually, in the MCU, Maria Rambeau, Monica Rambeau's mother, established S.W.O.R.D. She established this in 1995. It's under the government, and it is about extraterrestrial operations using humans. Originally, it was supposed to use humans. As they went forward into the future, they started using AI and robotics and sentient weapons. However, in WandaVision, Monica Rambeau ended up getting powers. So it looks like Fury has recruited her for several different reasons. One, her mother was the founder of S.W.O.R.D., and S.W.O.R.D. is responsible for protecting Earth from extraterrestrial threats. And now Monica Rambeau has powers. So she gets to follow in her mother's footsteps, but she also has powers so she can protect the base, S.A.B.E.R, and she can also protect from extraterrestrial threats. Now, even though this is labeled S.A.B.E.R, it is most likely just the Peak, the operation for S.W.O.R.D. And this is most likely where we saw Fury in the post-credits for Spider-Man Far From Home. We know that Talos and his wife were on Earth disguised as Fury and Maria Hill, and they showed us that Fury looked to be kind of taking a vacation, except he was really just on the S.A.B.E.R headquarters. Now, what's interesting about this is we can see a lot of different spaceships kind of floating around it, and in a very blink and you'll miss it point in the trailer at 3 seconds, you can see a hex gate appear. These are what we originally saw in Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is how some ships can kind of warp travel through space. So now it looks like Earth is kind of playing nice with other species in the galaxy, probably just the Skrull, since Nick Fury is heavily involved with the Skrull. But there could be some other species involved in this as well, like the Asgardians, for example, could be using S.W.O.R.D. as well to kind of jump to different parts in space. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out before this as well. Perhaps they have something to do with establishing this. We'll have to wait and see on that, but it does look like they are becoming more advanced. And this is probably just to kind of communicate with Captain Marvel, how she can go through different parts of the galaxy and then eventually get back to the S.W.O.R.D. headquarters. Now, in the start of this trailer, Monica is outside and there seems to be some type of anomaly that has appeared. Monica calls it the jump point. And when she comes in contact with it, she uses her powers and swaps places with Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. And they really lean into the fact that she is a teenager in this. And I actually think it works really, really well because the second she switches place with Monica Rambeau, she immediately starts to freak out and an energy surge sends her spiraling backwards out of control, moving towards the S.A.B.E.R base. And you can just hear her screaming, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. She has no idea what is happening. All of a sudden she's in space doing backflips, and then all of a sudden she sees Fury. Now, obviously, Kamala Khan is a huge Avengers and Captain Marvel fan. She's a nerd, kind of like all of us, which is cool, but that means she instantly recognizes who Nick Fury is. She freaks out and goes, oh my gosh, Nick Fury, hi. And then we see Nick Fury freaking out because he has no idea what happened. But she says, is this an Avengers test? Because she recently got her powers. She has recently used them for good. So in her head, she's thinking that, hey, maybe Nick Fury caught on to me. He's been watching me and maybe this is a test for me to get into the Avengers. So Miss Marvel has swapped places with Monica Rambeau, and it looks like Monica Rambeau has swapped places with Captain Marvel as she finds herself on another planet. However, it does show her going through another one of those hex gates, so maybe this is a different scene, not her swapping places, but she most likely did swap places with Captain Marvel here, because as she lands on the planet, we see a bunch of Kree running after her, so clearly Captain Marvel was doing something with the Kree here. And since the new plot synopsis says that Captain Marvel has sought her revenge on the Supreme Intelligence, I am assuming the Kree aren't exactly her friends anymore. And then we see that as the other two use their powers and Captain Marvel uses her powers as well, Captain Marvel's Carol Danvers ends up in Kamala Khan's room, who again is a super fan of Captain Marvel in particular. She loves the Avengers, she loves the heroes, but out of everybody, she loves Captain Marvel the most. So Captain Marvel sees all of this stuff kind of dedicated to her and is so confused about what is going on. And then something, I gotta say, pretty brilliant happens. I really gotta say, this is very clever by Marvel. The song Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys starts playing, and I love this song, but what's really clever about it is not only is this going to be an intergalactic film, but the first words of the first verse of this song are, and we hear them play, well, now, don't you tell me to smile. Many of you might have gone on to this and realized how clever it was, but if you didn't, this is a callback to the very first Captain Marvel film where the first teaser trailer for it came out. A lot of people came out and said, Brie Larson needs to smile more. And this pissed Brie Larson off because she said, well, you've never said that to any of the male leads for any of these Marvel shows. They don't smile, and you've never told them to smile, but you're doing it to me. She then went on to Photoshop a bunch of the male characters' posters into a smile. She did it for Doctor Strange, Iron Man 3, Captain America the Winter Soldier. And this is a direct callback because it's the first trailer for Captain Marvel 2, essentially. It is Captain Marvel 2, just simply called The Marvels. So the first trailer is a callback to the first trailer for the first Captain Marvel film where they told her to smile. So this was very, very clever. So after this, we see the Marvel Studios logo pop up, but then we see it swap places with a different logo. Very clever considering the three of these women are going to be swapping places with each other every time they use their powers. Then we find ourselves in Jersey City where Kamala Khan lives. We go to a door and Nick Fury and Monica Rambeau are at that door. This is the home of Kamala Khan and her family. Her dad opens up the door. Nick Fury says, we're looking for Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan pops up ecstatic because she already saw Nick Fury in space and she asks, did I get in? As in, did I get into the Avengers? Am I an Avenger now? So clearly they ended up using their powers again, and Kamala Khan has found herself back in her room and back on Earth in her house. She clearly told her parents and her family what happened as they are all gathered there, and Nick Fury does not look too pleased at all. And once we get inside the house, you can see that it's been kind of damaged, and you can also see what kind of appears to be some guy in the living room unconscious, tied up. This could be a Kree. Perhaps Captain Marvel was fighting a Kree and was touching a Kree at the moment, or perhaps Miss Marvel, while she was swapping places with Carol Danvers, got captured by Kree, and when she swapped back, the Kree went with her, and then she defeated it and her family tied it up. But from there, Monica and Nick Fury sit down and Monica starts to explain that every time they use their powers, powers, they swap places. Kamala Khan gets really excited to show Nick Fury and Monica Rambeau her powers, and of course, once she does it, she swaps places with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel swaps places, shows up, and she is clearly very upset, yelling, "Not again." Her family wonders where Kamala Khan is, and they state, well, wherever Captain Marvel was, and they show us that she was on a cruise ship. So Kamala Khan finds herself on a cruise ship not knowing what to do, but luckily Captain Marvel before was with Goose, the Flurkin, and Goose has her back, but also really freaks out Kamala Khan at the same time, because Goose is basically a full-on alien to her. Now from here we get some really interesting footage, including seeing the villain of the movie eventually. Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau are both with Captain Marvel, flying in some kind of jet, could possibly be an iteration of a Quinjet. They go through one of the hex gates, and perhaps Captain Marvel has such an urgent mission that she just decided, hey, y'all have to come with me because I can't keep swapping places with you going back to Earth. So basically, if we're gonna swap places, I need you right next to me so I don't actually leave. And of course, I think by the end, they are going to use this as an actual fighting style, as an advantage, as every time they use their powers, they will swap places. They'll do that on purpose eventually. Now we see kind of a new civilization here, a new world. It does look like it was filmed in Greece, possibly. The circular building on the right seems kind of Asgardian, although I do not think this is Asgard or New Asgard on Earth. I definitely think that they're off planet here. We see that there's some kind of a celebration happening on this planet. We can see that Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan are kind of a part of this celebration, and the people here kind of seem like they could be mixed species, not just one species living here, but multiple different ones. We see some random scenes of Kamala Khan using her powers, Monica Rambeau using her powers. We see Kamala Khan flying through the air, and Monica Rambeau is jumping to get her. They eventually grab each other. And then we see Nick Fury on a base saying "shields up." Now, all of these people behind him are wearing a white outfit that was pretty much the same thing that Monica Rambeau was wearing. So these are most likely SWORD agents. And since he says "shields up," they are obviously about to get attacked by somebody or are currently getting attacked. And then we see Park Seo-joon's character, a very famous Korean actor. He's been in a lot of Korean dramas, and I recommend Itaewon Class if you have not seen that. And his character right now is kind of a mystery. He seems to be some type of a leader of some alien race that we don't really know about. I do believe he is playing a hero, and I actually think he could be S.A.B.E.R. Now, S.A.B.E.R. was a human in the comics. He was a part of a group of militarized Chinese superheroes, and he was fighting against the Mandarin, and Iron Man actually came to help them fight against the Mandarin. S.A.B.E.R. actually possessed 2 lightsabers, and in this brief scene that we see him in, we see him wielding sort of a weird sword here. Now, it's not a lightsaber, and he doesn't appear to be of Earth, but the fact that they named the peak Saber kind of makes me think here. But who knows who he is actually playing. I do think that the army that he has behind him are fighting against the villain of the movie, who is going to be played by Sawe Ashton. Now, she is a Kree, and the big theory out there is that she could be the daughter of Ronan, and we can see that in this trailer. She seems to be carrying a very similar hammer that Ronan did carry. Now, that was destroyed by the Guardians of the Galaxy, but perhaps it was pieced back together, or perhaps it's some kind of sacred Kree weapon. And you can even see that a person behind her to the right looks extremely similar to Ronan. Now, it's obviously not Ronan. Ronan has died in the MCU at this point. Guardians of the Galaxy killed him, and this is believed to take place in present time. So unless we get some type of a flashback, which maybe we will, I don't think Ronan is in this. I do think this is Ronan the Accuser's daughter, and he was a part of a sacred bloodline, right? His family was known for being super intense and showing no mercy. So this is most likely his daughter, or somebody extremely close to him, very pissed off that he has died, and is now continuing the work of Ronan the Accuser. And what is extremely interesting about seeing her in this scene is if you look at her right arm, it looks like she is wearing the other bangle to Kamala Khan's bangle. Now, we learned in Ms. Marvel that there were supposed to be 2 bangles, but they could only find one at first. They also found the first bangle on the arm of a blue person believed to be a Kree, and now that is pretty much confirmed, since Sawe Ashton's character is a Kree. So it looks like she's going to have some pretty big powers as well, since she is wearing a bangle. And she'll most likely know how to use it way better than Kamala Khan knows how to use hers. Now, the last scene that we see of this trailer is, like I mentioned, how the 3 of them are actually using the fact that they are switching places as a tactical advantage to fight. They are fighting a woman who looks a lot like Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, but is not, because in the final fight scene of this, we see that Captain Marvel is indeed fighting this person as well. Now, it could be somebody who has shapeshifted to look like Captain Marvel, because it does look like her, so it could be some type of a Skrull, maybe a Super Skrull that's working with the Kree, who knows. But the big takeaway from this final scene is that they are now using the fact that they can switch places with each other as a means of actually fighting. So they're actually using it to their advantage. And the last thing that we hear is Kamala Khan freaking out that she is now a part of this team, asking the other two, oh, we're a team now? And the other two are like, nope, nope. We're not a team, not dealing with this young teenager. Plus, not to mention, Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers are estranged now, so they're probably not on the best of terms, so they definitely don't want to be a part of this team, but it's called the Marvels. Obviously, by the end of the movie, they're going to be like a little the Marvels family. And that's it for this trailer breakdown. If you spotted anything important that we might have missed, please let us know in the comments down below, and let us know your general thoughts about this trailer. I genuinely thought it was a really good trailer, and hopefully the movie is really good as well. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the Marvels and the MCU. You can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.